Oh my goodness! Can you believe it? I just
Yep.
touched my microphone. Can you believe it? It's the day has finally come once again. The long-awaited episode 2 to the very infamous Singular Braincell podcast, and
Mhm.
today I have a very special individual here with me today. This person, we were they you know that scene from Forrest Gump where Forrest saves Lieutenant Dan during the war. That is this. They are my Forrest Gump, and I am Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan is the one that lost his legs, right?
I think I lost a little more than that, but yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't remember what happened in Forrest Gump.
A lot
The
happened.
movie was always too long. It's good, but it got really sad, so I just shuffled away before it could end.
I shuffled away. you
Shuffled
shuffled.
away. The fans have been jonesing for a new episode, and I hope I can. They've been twiddling their little fingers, their little grubbies. They've been ooh, tasting
Why
it up.
don't
They've
why
been
don't you gotta introduce yourself? Nobody knows who you
oh
are.
I okay. I'm Ace. I'm an artist. I do costume design. I'm hopefully gonna be going into college for animation. I um I'm a short old fat man enthusiast. I
What?
I
Okay.
I love clowns. Clowns are super cool. Uh I know a lot about bugs and fossils. If you want to know, hit me up. I collect bones. I'm like the fucking crypt keeper. Um
Tables for the kitties.
ew, don't do that.
What do you
Don't do that.
mean?
That was disgusting. I don't
Uh,
want to ever hear that voice again.
okay, fine. Jesus. I
You know
won't.
what we should talk about?
What?
Trolls 3.
Okay, we will. But first,
Yes!
one second.
I assume we're cutting this part out.
Well, I'm keeping that part in where you say, "Are we cutting this part out?"
No! No! No!
What
Guys,
did you want to
please
talk
bring it back
about? You want
on
to
the
talk
audience.
about the Trolls film? Which one? The one with the singing little people, or the one where they eat the kid and he goes, "Oh my god!"
I thought that was the Leprechaun movie. That's the Trolls
No,
horror
yeah,
movie?
that's the Trolls 2 movie. That's the whole. Yeah, that's they're gonna eat her, and then they're
I,
gonna eat me. Oh my
I
god!
I love that movie. That movie's so good. I
It is amazing.
Me and Ren, for context, guys, Ren's my partner. We're doing a slashers smasher pass, and the Leprechaun came up. By the way, that was a smash.
Why is he a smash?
Did you not hear my whole intro? Did you not hear the short, old, fat, ugly man enthusiast part? That
Okay,
was
to be
really.
fair, he's not fat. He's just stumpy.
This is close to being fat.
He's also really grotesque, and I'm pretty sure he's a he does not respect women.
Well, lucky for him, sometimes woman.
I don't think he
Oh,
respects men either. My point is that he doesn't respect anyone. He's a fucking dick.
ooh la la! This is a bonus.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot you like abuse in the bedroom.
What? What? I never said that. I was
you.
yes, guys, it's not true. Guys, I was jesting. I was joking. Please don't say
Yeah, they
that.
were jesting. That's why they have a jester hat on.
Yes, I
And
love being.
guys, I just want to say this right now. If you guys make any comparisons to Ace's Sona to Pomni from Digital Circus, I will, and this is I will write this down on a legal document. I will be I will take down my channel, and I will say I will sell it to Smosh.
Oh yeah, I love a good smosh though. Were you the type of person? Do you ever find Anthony Padilla attractive? Have you ever found Anthony Padilla attractive in your life?
Anthony? No, ew. I think Ian looks better.
What?
Anthony.
Ian over Anthony is insane.
I don't
I
know.
don't like either of them. They're too basic, but like
I don't think they find either of them attractive. I just think Anthony now he looks like he looks like he's just like completely like rebranded himself.
I mean, he kind of has. He's a really sweet guy. He had the person who made the history of the entire world, I guess, video
Ugh.
come on her video, which is very impressive. Apparently he's like impossible to find.
Yo, we should bring him on the podcast.
He's like genuinely impossible to get a hold of. Apparently, like it
Well,
was.
I got a hold of Adam, and that's genuinely impossible.
Well, he's also like omnipotent.
don't don't. Why are you insulting him? Now he's not gonna come on to the
What?
show.
What's wrong with omnipotent? Means like a god. What are you talking about? I mean like an omnipotent being. I'm complimenting him.
Oh, I thought you said incompetent.
I said omnipotent, like a god being, like a demigod.
Okay, I misheard
If
you.
you're
I thought you said something else. I thought you
No,
said either incompetent or something else. I forgot.
I love
Yeah,
Adam.
omnipotent.
No, I would never. I would never.
I don't know what I thought you said. I have no idea.
I said he was stupid.
I
He
think I'm
should
just
jump
I
off
think
of
I'm just an
a 2-foot
idiot.
ledge.
To be fair though, if I don't know the meaning of omnipotent, I don't think fucking Adam will either. So he probably thinking you're being offensive too.
Well, you should read some literature. No, I'm kidding. I don't fucking read. I can't read. I can read, but I'm not good at it.
Adam, I love you.
Adam, we know you're watching.
Adam, we have your family.
Dude, oh yeah, Trolls 3. Man, what a movie. I
Yep,
think the
and
Trolls
that's all we
series
have
is
to
very
say.
good.
That's all we need to say. It was a movie. That's the quote of the.
It was a great movie.
No, it was a movie. I'll agree with you on that.
I loved it. My profile picture everywhere in basically all of social media except for like my main Discord profile is Veneer from Trolls 3.
Yep.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's
You
cool.
love him a little too
JD is my
much.
favorite character though. No, I don't love him in a weird way. Veneer's just like me for real. I like JD in a weird way. I have a mini of him like 3 feet away from me right now.
Mm. And what do you do with that mini of him?
He stares at me and I cry.
Why aren't you real? I say as I slam my fist into the ground.
I have been genuinely upset over the fact that trolls aren't real in my life before. I just want
Why?
because they seem so happy and jolly, and I think life would be better if trolls were real.
If trolls, if trolls were real, the FBI would fucking capture them all and kill them. Probably use their magic.
Don't say that.
You know they would. You know they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can dream. Like, what's your favorite movie
Of all time,
of all time?
Alvin and the Chipmunks 4, Chipwreck.
Fucking hate you.
Wait, that's the third one. My bad. The fourth one was Road Chip.
Oh my god, I hated the Alvin and Chipmunks movie except for the first one when I was a little kid.
The first one was bad. The second one was bad. The third one was strangely erotic, but also bad.
I don't remember that much about them. They were not very. I also hated the Air Buddy movies when I was a little kid.
I never watched those. Those movies were stupid.
I hated the movies where the dogs would talk. I hated those. Like the same with like the Hollywood Chihuahua movies. Hated everything like about those. It was so boring.
You mean
to me.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua? Hollywood Hills Chihuahua.
Yeah, those sucked. I hated those. They were so boring.
But that was Martin Lopez. What's his name?
George Lopez.
George Lopez. Fuck me.
George Lopez is in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I thought you were gonna say Shark Tale.
Oh, I love that's a good movie.
That's
Unironically, I enjoy Shark Tale.
That's a good. Yeah. Oh man. I don't know how to segue from Shark Tales into what we were planning to talk about. So I guess let's just keep talking about random stuff until we have a good segue into what we
I have a good
talk
segue.
about. What's a good segue?
So Shark Tale, although it's a ripoff, it has good writing. But you know what doesn't have good writing? Hell of a Buck.
Oh! Shots fired! Vivzy, Vivzy, You are being tracked. You will be found. This is your termination day, buddy.
I hate Has Been Hotel. I hate Hell of a Boss,
How can you
but I
hate it
didn't
if it hasn't
always
come out
hate
yet,
it.
though? I agree with you. I hate it too, but how can you hate something that hasn't
Just
even
by
been
the
released?
trailer, the people behind it, the pilot, um, a lot of issues behind the scenes, multiple different reasons why I don't like Hell of a Boss or Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact there's so much Has Been Hotel merch before the pilot even came out. They're just immediately profiting off of fans.
They're profiting off of the
Yeah,
furry market.
yeah. Well, let's talk about what is out yet. Let's talk about
What the
Hell of a
trailer?
Boss.
The trailer, or you want which one do you want to talk about? Because there's a few things we're planning to talk about. We want to talk
Um,
about Hell of a Boss, Husband Hotel, and then we were going to talk about another special little boy that we mentioned briefly in our Adventure Time playthrough.
oh, what did I say? Oh,
Well,
what did I say?
don't worry. I'm sure it'll come back to you. We got a bit to talk about, but
We'll get there.
we'll get there. We'll get there, my pretty.
Ugh, ugh, ugh. Gross. I hate that. Was like, that gave me like a full body shiver. That was horrible. I didn't like that. I don't. I don't support it. I don't. Ugh.
Whoa,
Ugh.
whoa! What did you just say? You don't support the LGBTQ?
Yeah, I said it.
Whoa,
Should I too? Guys, please,
whoa,
guys. I'm.
whoa,
Stop.
whoa, whoa! I can't believe you just said that, man.
No, guys, please,
Whoa.
please. I'm in a queer relationship, please.
I
Guys,
I am queer.
I
I
am.
uh,
God,
wait,
okay.
wait, I got it. Isn't it clear? I'm queerly queer. Get it? I'm
That sounds
queerly.
like a fucking TikTok audio that a millennial would make and be like used to like show off their like
Okay, well,
hashtag.
fuck you. Then I'm muting myself on the podcast.
No, 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 come back. I can't. I don't want to carry this entire thing.
I cannot carry this burden.
Please, let's talk about Husband Hotel. We're gonna get off track before
Okay,
we're gonna.
let's talk about husband.
Oh, but
Okay, so what do you what do we want to talk about has been? You want to talk about the how it just looks like shit, music shit, characters are shit, the casting is shit, pretty much
so I
everything
know a lot
shit.
about the actual media because I was into Husband Hotel when the pilot first came out. I was I don't know, 12, 13 around then.
Was it really
Uh
that long ago?
yeah, I think it's over 5 years old.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
But I don't really know as much about the behind the scenes as you do. So I think you should actually talk about the behind the scenes because you seem to know when talk about like the um
The behind the
behind the scenes, like
scenes.
with Visby, like what Visby has done. You seem I've talked to you about
I I
Visby.
I, I mean I can, but I don't really want to die on this hill.
Well, don't die on it. You just give a brief summary of what's happened, like
Well,
unbiased. And I
everything
know a
that's
lot about the actual
happened,
media.
it's not necessarily like genuinely like guaranteed. I want everybody to understand that I want to put a huge disclaimer up. Anyone that we discuss, talk about, or reference on this channel or this podcast anywhere, um, you are not to harass, you are not to go and bother them, and you are not to go there using any information from this channel to try to like ruin them or expose them. If
Yeah.
anything of this ever happens at any point, I will not hesitate to take down my channel and all my videos quickly and
Yeah.
without
Like
hesitation, because this is not what we're here to do. We're not here to expose people. We are not here to you know, ruin people's reputation. We are not here to, you know, put people down. We are simply here to talk about what we want to talk about and what is on our mind. And if you enjoy listening to us talk about it, great. If you don't, that's also fine. But whatever you do, I please ask you, behave, be mature, and if do not go to anyone we talked about, and do not harass any of those people. And I hate that so many people and so many YouTubers have to say this nowadays on the internet, because clearly this is a rule that people just don't seem to like learn and understand. But I'm going to make this very clear. Do not take anything I say like like to heart or as the Bible. Okay?
Yeah, our opinions are our opinions. Even if we might dislike someone for what they done, or like just general opinions, we don't think these people deserve genuine hate and harm in their life. We're just simply talking about
We
things.
are simply just talking. We This is just for comedy purposes. We're just make trying to make entertain you, make you laugh. But at the same time, obviously, we want to give our own opinions. And with that comes the obvious risk of criticism and people like taking the criticism too far. Again, I understand if you may disagree with how we feel, but it's important that we agree to disagree. If you like Vivzy, I am completely fine with that. You have the right to like them. I do not despise you for liking them. All I am saying is that I personally do not like them, and we in Ace are about to give our reasons for why we do not like them.
Same
Now,
with the media. If you like Has Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss and you genuinely enjoy it, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, for the longest time, I did enjoy the first season of Hell of a Boss. I like medias that are objectively fucking bad, like Battle Kitty, but like I still enjoy them. There's nothing wrong.
okay.
Don't take this as discouragement. We are
No,
just
please don't.
our
Okay,
personal.
look. Now that that's been said, all right, we gave the disclaimer, a very long explanation. Now that that's been said and done, holy shit, do I fucking hate Vivzy Pop.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But I do have quite the bit of opinions about the manner in which they are currently handling the um, internet. And I don't
Hmm.
know what to call it. It's not really a fandom. It's more just like a group of people who are currently sort of going out of their way to not really mock Vivzy, but clearly try to like push their buttons. And on one hand, listen, I don't think you should go out of your way to mess with someone, but I do think that Vivzy kind of brought it on herself when, from the way that they reacted to the video that pretty much started it all, which was the Digital Circus. If it was written by Vivzy Pop. Now listen,
Which is
that
hilarious.
it's a
Let me just
hilarious
say.
video, and we both agree on that. I think a lot of people can agree. It's a very funny video. Is it completely accurate? Not exactly, but that's kind of the joke. It's an over exaggeration. Like, no, obviously it's not completely accurate. Is the show just always just cursing and such? Not always. But the joke is that we can all agree that Hell of a Boss, and most likely we can assume Has Been Hotel, will and has a lot of excessive swearing in it. And recently, that was a trend on Twitter. I'm sure most people watching this probably know about it, where
And on TikTok.
people, yeah, and TikTok, where people were just taking pieces of media and redubbing it as if that series was written by Vivzy Pop. Now,
Mhm.
the Digital Circus one was obviously meant as a playful joke. It was not meant to put down Vivzy in any way. It was simply just as a joke because of all the sort of complaints that her series were getting due to all their excessive vulgar swearing. But the way she handled it was very much immature, because inevitably she just ended up completely blocking the dude and responded with a tweet trying to justify her sense of comedy and why she thinks that she and what she writes is so funny. And it's like, Vizzy, you understand that this is the internet, and sometimes you just even though you may think fighting this fight is the right thing to do, sometimes it's just best to just let things go and not let it get under your skin.
Not to mention, in my opinion, the videos where they're just putting like the fuck, like that sound effect over the entire video. and says like has been hotel writing is very funny. Like, yeah, obviously the entire like oh sorry, the entire episodes and pilots aren't just cursing, but it's just it's a fun joke. They're not saying, you know, oh OMG joke where Vizzy Pop kills herself, LOL. It's not like that. They're just making fun of her media. Even though Vizby Pop has done a lot of shitty things, I think this is like completely harmless and like I don't like they're not even teasing her. They're just teasing the media. That the fact that it has cursing in it. It's not that serious, and I think she's just taking it way too seriously.
Yeah, I think she is too. She's a content creator. She's going to receive criticism. You got to learn how to receive criticism. I was scared shitless about the idea of having a YouTube channel, even if it is nonprofit, because of all the criticism I was afraid to receive. And with that came a fear of always being paranoid of the like to dislike ratio on my videos. And obviously, whenever I get a dislike when I first started, it made me really nervous because you know it made me think like, oh, people don't like my video. Does that mean they're gonna like, you know, does that mean that they're bad and such? But over time, I kind of just realized that I don't really care. Like for the most part, if someone does dislike my video, one, you know, that's usually the most they'll go out of their way, and as I've seen in recent time. And if you dislike my videos, then you know what? I doesn't mean I hate you. That's your opinion, and I've learned to sort of accept that and sort of move past it as a fear of mine. And also, too, uh, I think that my general audience is quite small, so I never really reach outside to people who are unfamiliar with who I am or may not know me on a more of like a social level. I have a few people and subscribers who I think are people who have just come and found me randomly on the YouTubes, but a lot of the people who subscribe to me are people who I do socialize with occasionally or quite a lot. So, personally, to me, um, I've just sort of moved past a lot of that paranoia because I learned that I have people who do enjoy my stuff, and B, if there are people who don't like it, doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And I learned that, and it's helped me to sort of like receive criticism and dislikes and whatnot. And obviously, if someone criticizes me, I'm gonna say this: if you criticize me on my videos, I really don't care. I've seen people make fun of me on my videos before, nothing harsh, but just little stuff, and it always just makes me laugh. Even if they're not trying to make me laugh, it just makes me laugh. But
Mhm.
uh, any criticism I receive towards any of the crew members, other crew members, or my friends that I bring on my channel, I will not tolerate that. Please refrain from any kind of comments like that. If you just don't like my friends or you just don't like my videos, just close out. Just please, I do not just go out of your way to try to harass my friends like that. That's where I draw the line. You wanna make fun of me? Go ahead. I can take it, but one, I don't know why. I don't like. It's just mean to make fun of my friends, and two, they don't even see it. It's my channel. They don't see the comments. It doesn't. They don't get the notification. It's my channel, so um, just wanted to point that out and just kind of give a perspective on like how I feel like I can give a bit of advice to Vivzy on taking criticism. And even though that feels like I'm talking down to her, to be fair, she's shown multiple times that she can't handle criticism. And I would understand if the criticism was towards like people who worked on her team, like because that's one thing, and I would respect her trying to stand up for her team if they were being criticized, because I'm the same way. Like I said, I do not like to tolerate criticism towards my friends and my team, but criticism towards yourself, you got to learn how to handle it. You got to learn to just take it in stride. This is the internet. We live in an era where you know people are going to say stuff about you, and it's not going to be true. It may, or maybe it will be true, but you just kind of have to learn to handle it. And
As sorry,
no,
I didn't mean
I was literally about to just pass it on to you. I was literally going to say, and I think Ace probably has a lot they could say on this subject matter. In fact,
yeah. So I am not saying this to brag or anything. Although none of my videos are up now because I recently had kind of a restart in my social media and how I portray myself online, I have a decent following on TikTok, just around 20,000 followers, and my sister has even more. And I've seen what it's like to have a lot of criticism and such, and how it can affect you. The best thing to do is just to ignore it and just be petty about such a small, insignificant thing. Is just shows your level of immaturity and lack of ability to handle a large project and a large fan base. I don't think she should have a social media where she's constantly tweeting shit. Like it's just burying her deeper and deeper and deeper into this big hole, and it's not painting her well. And also, I wanted to say some stuff that I know for a fact that Vivzy has done in the past, which I do not respect and kind of has my own opinion about her.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh
So,
boy.
first of all, she drew. Do you remember the movie Sausage Party?
I wish I didn't, but yeah.
She drew like a a lot of fan art of the Hitler sauce bottle, like an insane amount of fan art of it, and
Oh
seemed to
no.
be obsessed of it for a while. She drew fan art of these two content creators, and this was back a while ago. None of this is super recent. Um, and these content creators were known for doing blackface and racist jokes. And someone said, "Hey, this person does blackface," and it's like multiple videos of them are up doing blackface. And she said, "Well, people can do whatever they want," and refused to take down the posts. She drew bestiality, and her excuse for that was it was legal at the time, which technically it was. It was like legal in California, I don't know, but it was fucked up. And apparently she drew pedophilic artwork. So I'm not saying this word for word. I might have a few shit inaccurate, but there's plenty of videos covering what she's done with proof and evidence and photos of what she's done. And I just don't respect any of that. As an artist, I can't even imagine myself doing that. And she's probably apologized for doing this, but that's something I don't think you can really just apologize and move on from. That is something that is really fucked up. But that is horrible because she was an adult at the time, and as an adult, you shouldn't be drawing those things.
Yeah. No, it seems like a lot of like content creators with a bit of a controversial history kind of started out doing some kind of weird perverted art when they were younger.
Yeah.
Rebecca Sugar. uh,
What did
I didn't say anything. I was coughing.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. Mm.
um, Actually, to be fair, I probably have more respect for Rebecca Sugars than Vivzy Pop, just because I think Rebecca Sugars can actually write a decent song to save her life.
Yes. I hate saying it, but her music is
Her
so good.
music's really good. I will give Rebecca Sugar this. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Steven Universe and your weird Ed and Eddie porn
Mm.
fetish era.
And the Ratatouille
Maybe it
one.
was like a joke or something. I don't know. I don't know the full context. We're not here to talk about Rebecca Sugars. I will say though, I think she's really good at making music. She wrote the music for Adventure Time. She wrote the music for Steven Universe. Both shows had really great music. So I applaud you there, Rebecca Sugars. And at least I can tell you this much: I have more respect for you than Vivzy because listen. I don't think the songs in Hell of a Boss are terrible, but the music I've heard from the trailers for Has Been Hotel make me want to rip my ears off.
Some of the music from Hell of a Boss is bad.
Some of it
Some of it
is, not
is.
all of it. Some of it's
Um,
okay, but a lot of it, like the fucking Cotton Candy song, is terrible.
ugh, it's all the season two music that's horrible. The season one music's okay. The season one music is pretty good, but we'll get into Hell of a Boss. But man, what a downgrade. But also, I want to talk about the fact that Vaggie was originally when she had these characters in something called
Yeah, you
Utopia.
showed me this
Like
recently.
her old, she used to. Her name was literally Vagina. Her name was Vagina, but it was spelled with a Y in the middle, so it wasn't like word for word. But like that, the whole joke was like, oh, she's a lesbian, so her name's Vagina. Like how fucked up. Like
To be fair, I think that joke would have worked if the whole point of the show was that it was supposed to take a more of an offensive sort of like tone to it. Kind of like how
Yeah.
sometimes South Park just rips the band-aid off and just like makes a character like a complete stereotypical racist depiction of something or someone, like with
Yeah.
the Chinese restaurant owner.
Yeah.
You
But Hell
know
of a
him.
Boss also, or not, oh my God, not Hell of a Boss. South Park also makes political statements that
Don't
are
worry, I
pretty
get those two
good.
shows confused as well because apparently Vivzy was inspired by South Park to make Hell
N-
of a
How
Boss.
dare she? I like South Park a whole lot, and I think South Park. A lot of people will be like, "How do you defend or hate some people like Max G and Hell of a Boss while liking South Park?" Because South Park,
Uh,
first of all,
because
good
South Park,
writing,
yeah, it's made by two geniuses.
and like it's also not just two people. There's a whole crew of people that work with them,
Yeah,
storyboarding,
I
etc.,
don't.
etc. It's not control of one guy just deciding to make racist jokes. And they genuinely have good political statements said about them, and it's not pushing necessarily certain political beliefs, but just facts of reality. And I,
Yeah,
I think it's
I
great.
also like. I'm not a huge fan of South Park or anything. Like I've watched quite a bit of it. I think definitely in the earlier seasons it was really entertaining and it had a lot of fun, creative like ways that it tried to sort of bend our reality and sort of portray it in a more of a comedic and hilarious sort of tone and perspective. And I think that it's a very clever show. As of recently, I haven't had much interest to watch it. I don't think it's as funny to me anymore. That's just me though. Like I said, my opinion. I just haven't really been able to get around it. I tried watching some of the newer episodes, didn't really stick the landing to me, so I just kind of just gave up watching it. But I can safely say that a show like South Park just has a lot more. It's a lot. It's just it has more of a creative aspect behind how they sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm this is why this is why this broadcast is called what it is because I'm running off a singular brain cell in my brain
I
that
cannot genuinely think of what you're thinking
yeah,
of either.
exactly. We're sharing the same brain cell right now. I'm using half of it. You're using the other half.
Yeah.
Um, to address certain world issues and such, they take a very creative approach, and their whole purpose of it is to kind of just say, "Listen, this is our opinion. We're gonna put it out there. If you agree, great. If you don't, well, fuck you." And you know
Yeah.
what? You kind of have to respect those two guys because in a lot of ways they're both big geniuses and huge idiots. But you know what? They take it in stride. They take it. They. I am fucking my brain.
They take things that are stereotypical and kind of radical and turn it on its head to almost mean an opposite meaning.
Yeah,
Kind of use
exactly.
it as metaphors.
They take it in style. They realize
Yeah.
who they are and what they do, and when they mess up, they admit to it. I can at least, sometimes if they mess up or their opinion changes, at least they can even admit to it on a worldwide scale, like they did with the fucking Al Gore Man Bear Pig, which by the way is my favorite episode in the entire series. I love when they
Yeah.
go to Al Gore and he's bullying and they try to apologize. He's just like, "Oh, fuck to be you." It's that's my favorite episode. But anyways, it's a bit different. It just feels like they know what they're doing, whereas people like Vivzy are just trying to replicate it, but they are misinterpreting what the formula is that the people like South Park are using to create such a good show like that. I feel like Vivzy has lost sight of what makes those shows good and instead has just sort of created this idea that, oh, it's the cursing, it's
Yeah.
the
It
vulgarness. That's what makes it funny, but that's
it
not what makes
tries
it
too
funny.
hard. It tries too hard to be extremist and radical while also trying to be supportive of different groups, but it just comes off as cringe and poorly written. It's just not good. Speaking of which, the trailer. What did
Uh,
we think of it?
do you want to go first, or should I give my opinions first?
Um, how about we do like a brief summary of what we thought, and then we can dive in together on each of
Okay,
our thoughts.
okay. Okay. How about this? Let's summarize our thoughts on the trailer in one word, and then we'll dive into it. How about that? I'll.
Sounds great.
Okay.
It's exactly what I just said.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to describe my opinion on the trailer in one word. Are you ready?
Yep.
Actually, no. Wait. I got a better idea. I got a better idea. I got a better idea. Describe the trailer with a quote from Hell of a Boss or Hazbin Hotel. I think that would be more fun.
Oh, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
I have my
God,
quote. I have my quote. You ready?
go for it.
Wow, that was shit.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Jesus. Yeah,
I that is
it's really bad.
as for my one word description of it, I was just going to say either shit or fuck.
I was gonna say just bad. It's
All right,
um
all right, let's dive into it. How about you start off because you are the artistic one and you definitely have more of an understanding of art and animation than I do. I have some knowledge, but I'm not an animation major like you are planning to be. I'm a video game design major. I only have very small animation knowledge. But you, on the other hand, I'm gonna let you start it off.
I'm gonna start with something that everyone seems to point out, and this is definitely not the I'm not the only one to say this. The composition. The very tuned or two-tone bass. There's a lot of grayscale with blacks and whites, and there's a lot of
Isn't that a disease?
grayscale.
Yeah. Isn't that...
Grayscale is just talking about the colors of like
Hold on.
black and white.
I know. Trust me. Oh shit. Trust me. I know. I'm not. Uh, I swear to God, isn't it? Hold on.
Is there a disease called grayscale?
Yes, there is. Grayscale, also known as Prince Garen's Curse, is a dreaded and usually fatal disease that can leave flesh still and dead and skin cracked, flaky, and stone-like to the touch.
Ew.
It's not.
I never even knew that.
It's spelled Grey scale though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but grayscale is a disease. Sorry, I just when you said grayscale, the first thing that came to my mind was the disease.
no, no, that's fair. I never even knew that. But there's a lot of grayscale and there's a lot of red scale, like reds, pinks, and oranges. It's a lot of warm tones, and I get it. It's hell. You're trying to base a lot of it off of
More of like
fire and brimstone.
a gloomy sort of vibe that's also sort of
And
like demonic.
and I get that every ring is supposed to have its own color centric focus, but it just comes off as way too muddy. It's easy to lose the characters into the background and into the other characters. It's hard to keep track of what's going on. Not to mention designs are way too cluttered. There's way too much detail in very small areas of the design, which isn't good. With something like animation, I think the first Kung Fu Panda movie, for example, the designs on the details, like the scales and the stripes on the different characters, are still bold despite giving it that detailed effect. They're stylized. This is just there's way too much shit going on, especially for 2D animation, and it just looks bad. Um, Someone pointed out animation errors in the trailer itself. I can't call them out on the tip of my tongue, but they exist, and a lot of this designs are just so 2014 Tumblr. They aren't appealing.
Apparently, Charlie's supposed to be a goat.
Yeah, no, that doesn't look like a goat at all.
Now, I don't know if that's for sure. I was just hearing a lot of people discuss it because apparently on the wiki page for her, she's saying she's supposed to be goat-like in appearance or something like that.
Mhm. I guess
So
it's because their form pops out horns, but it's just like not to mention the voice cast. It's okay, but they should have kept the voice for Angel. They should have kept the old cast, except replacing the ones that obviously needed to be changed for problematic reasons. But like Husker's voice, I don't like Husker's voice. It's way too smooth. It doesn't sound gritty for a disheveled character.
for clarification, because obviously, you know, I love Keith David. I really enjoy his performance as Spawn in the video games and in the Tom McFarlane TV series. and I just enjoy him in a lot of his performances, like in The Princess and the Frog, and even as the president in Rick and Morty for some of the earlier seasons.
Yeah,
Like Keith David, I love you, buddy. You're amazing. You're phenomenal. Uh,
but
yeah, I think I don't think your voice fits Husker. I'm sorry. It's not really your
it's
fault. It's just
so
poor casting
smooth.
choice.
It's not good. He's a drinker. He's a smoker. He's a gambler. He's not supposed to. I'm drinking something. You might hear that. He's not supposed to be this smooth, like caramely voice. It just doesn't suit it at all. Um, by the way, I agree with all the criticisms with Alistair's design because if you don't know, Alistair is supposed to be from areas like Louisiana and use hoodoo and voodoo. And Vivzy, after finding out hoodoo and voodoo is a closed practice for specific people and is really only practiced in different cultures of African American, different like areas, she was like, "Oh yeah, he's black," but yet you don't see any features that represent this.
The thing is though is that like I understand that a character who is supposed to be portrayed in more of a demonic form, obviously,
They're not going to be human
yeah,
fully.
they're not going to be humanoid. They're not going to look human. And they're not going to exactly resemble exactly how they looked in the real world. But they obviously would carry over some character traits. And I think it's
Yeah,
safe to say that Alistair gives off more of like a 1940s, 50s vibe of like rather than a like 1920s to 30s like Louisiana black man.
exactly.
That
He has like
and
silky flat hair. It just
yeah,
doesn't look good.
I'm just saying, like, and I'm not 100% sure if that would be considered a bit racist on my end. I just want to, like, clarify for one, I love
It's
jazz
not.
music. I
No, yeah,
absolutely love it. Like, and I love that culture of, and that, like, in that part of American history is, like, you know, it was a really interesting, fascinating point of time. I honestly wish I could have experienced it because it was a point of time in which did technically followed into the Great Depression, but still to have been there to watch the birth of jazz would have been like that would have been amazing because I love jazz. But I feel like I'm not helping my case. I'm not
no,
racist.
no, no. I
Big
here. No, here's
disclaimer:
the thing.
we are not racist.
No, I want to clarify something. To say that a character that is supposed to be black as a human and has no black features is not racist. It's because like to immediately assume, for example, like I know we were talking about this last night, like that people who are African American or black don't like automatically practice hoodoo or voodoo is racist, but it is like if someone okay,
If
blah, how am
someone
I done?
is a part of a
It
culture,
is a closed
they
practice.
yeah
It is part of a culture. It is
yeah.
something that is practiced primarily by people of color and not really white people. It is, and that's why Viv decided to just make him black. But we don't see that
But
reflected in
no,
his character
it's the
design.
same thing. I'm pretty sure you said this too in the Adventure Time recording. It's the same thing as when fucking J.K. Rowling was just like, "Oh yeah, Dumbledore's gay."
Yeah,
It's
it's
just like
exactly like
like
that.
you can't just do that. There's no evidence. There was never any evidence he was gay. You can't
Like
just make
you're
him
not giving
gay.
representation. You're just simply stating a
Yeah, you're
matter of
just
the fact after the media is already done.
yeah.
He would have just wanted to keep hoodoo and voodoo, and finding out it's offensive to make a supposedly white character have that because
It's
once again it's
clearly
clothes
it's clearly
is
just
offensive.
yeah, it's clearly just a result of her not doing research, and she's just clearly
Hmm.
being very like you know like if you want like I feel like one of the things you should do is if you're going to have characters who represent different historical periods in American or other cultures, then you probably might want to do a bit of research beforehand so that way you can accurately portray those characters from the time period they originated from.
Exactly.
But
I agree 100%.
yeah, like you can't just like that's something in which like you really just need to like go you have to understand that when you are making a television show and you have people of different cultures within it, of diversities, time periods, etc., that is fine. You can absolutely do that. In fact, I welcome it. I like diversity and a bit of like nuance and variations in my characters and the cast and such. Like,
Hmm.
I am sick and tired of every single television show when I was growing up watching it and being like, all the main characters are all just like basic ass white guys. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's just boring. It's like I want to like that's probably why I watched so much Dora the Explorer when I was a little kid, cuz like it was like something different. I was being exposed to a different culture other than just like the same ass like American characters, you know what I mean? It's like it's boring. I want to see something different. I want to learn while I watch. And a lot of those shows that incorporate different cultures and characters actually it allows for good opportunities to learn about those cultures as well and learn about those characters and their origins, and a lot of shows do that nowadays, and I'm very glad they do because it's a lot of fun to watch them. But you can't just pull a fucking what the fuck is the show called, what's the show that got fucking like completely demolished by everyone? It was like the Disney show.
Oh,
Primos.
where it was like the
Primos.
yes,
Primo. You
yes.
can't just pull a Primos. Okay, like for example, a show like Primos, like having a family centered around like more of a fam, like a Hispanic family. That's fine. No one was arguing about that. That's welcomed. I'm absolutely fine to have a show like that. I think it would be interesting to learn about like a family and that a Hispanic family, and sort of like more of like a representation of what some of their modern lives might look like and how it may differentiate from my own. It's fascinating to me. I like learning about that stuff. It introduces me to new cultures in a very fun and exciting way, and it does it for children. It's a good way to introduce children to different cultures, and so they're not fucking like sheltered their entire life and only taught like to love their country and America's great and shit like that.
Mhm.
Uh, but you can't just pull a Primos. You can't do what Primos did and absolutely do zero research on the
And
fucking.
misrepresent
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
exactly. You can't do that. You have to do research. If you want to make a show like that, you have to do research. You can't just go in blindly and just base the whole show off of everything that you learned from your third grade Spanish class. You can't do that.
There was so much, like, if there's tons of videos out there about it, I won't go too detail, but the grammar was off. A lot of the names for the characters were just Spanish words for very, like,
Yeah,
weird
wasn't none of
names.
them literally named like cockroach in Spanish, and one of them was
It was
legit just,
yeah, it was something like that,
and
and it
then
was
one of
really
them was straight up
weird.
just named Nacho.
Yeah, and then it's like very stereotypical, and
Yeah.
it just played into a lot of stereotypes in a way that wasn't unique at all, and it was just
I mean, to be fair, I
uh,
think a lot of people got upset, but I remember asking my friend Freddie what he thought about it, and he was just like, "I don't give a shit," and he's just, and I just think it was funny that like everybody on the internet is like complaining about the show, and then I asked my one like Hispanic friend, and I'm just like, "Yo, Freddie, what do you think about Primos?" He's like, "I don't care." It's just funny to
I mean,
me.
obviously, some people are going to care more than not, especially
Yeah,
if you're not really in
no,
these
no,
social circles
obviously,
online.
obviously. But the thing is, though, if this was like an adult show that was meant to be parodying Hispanic families and sort of like taking like again the South Park route where they're trying to be a bit offensive, but in a more of a like statement oriented position, then
It might work.
it might work. Like I was telling myself that could possibly work if done by the right people. But that's not what this was. This was a children's television show on Disney Channel. So
Yeah.
you gotta do your research. I just want to clarify, by the way, that if we at any point say anything by accident that upsets anyone, just
Please
know,
correct us.
please correct us. Yeah, that for sure. Please correct us, because obviously, a lot what we're talking about is just our opinions, and obviously, we are not the best at vocally portraying our thoughts sometimes. So if we do say something that sounds a bit wrong, or you're a bit concerned, please feel free to just correct us, and we will not be offended by it. Just please, just don't go into the comments and call us racist. We're not racist.
Yeah,
We're
no,
not
we're
racist.
just
Please,
trying.
please.
Obviously, I can't speak the experience of someone who's part of these cultures. I'm white. My mom is an immigrant from Poland. Like, it is something like
Yeah, you white
I
as
don't. I haven't
fuck.
experienced that. I'm pretty white, but I mean, my extended family has a lot of different races in it. Like, my aunt is Black and Mexican, so it's something like I do have family members that are part of these cultures. Not saying that gives me experience, like first person of what these are
But
like,
it definitely
but
gives
you
you
know, I
it gives you sort of like
yeah.
like what's the word? It gives you a bit of it gives you a bit of a sight into it.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is speak for these cultures, though. I
Yeah.
can't speak for them. I have not experienced it. I'm
Yes.
just simply stating my opinions on the matter. I still have
Yeah,
an opinion on it,
we are
but
obviously not trying to speak on behalf of these uh these groups of people and the misrepresentation that they receive in modern and pop culture and whatnot in media. Um,
Mhm.
we're not doing that. We are obviously just giving our opinion and our observations. And my observation, as with Ace and a lot of other people's, clearly, is that Alistair being black is not a problem. The problem is that it the origin and the reason behind Vivzy making him black was clearly not an original intention, and rather was just a spur of the moment panic because Vivzy realized that she made Alistair into this character, in which basically people cracked down and found out, wait, they're from Louisiana, they practice voodoo and hoodoo. You do realize that that's a cultural thing usually practiced amongst like African Americans and such during that time in
Mhm.
Louisiana. And immediately Vivzy was just like, "Oh no, he's black, by the way." You never ever you gave no kind of like subtle hint to anything of him being a part of that culture whatsoever. I'm not saying
Mhm.
I thought like, oh, Alistair's clearly a white person, but I never thought to myself, oh, he definitely gives me a black man from Louisiana during the 1900s vibe. He did not give off that vibe to me at all. Maybe like a little bit because of the musical aspect of it, but I wouldn't assume a Louisiana. If anything, I
He
thought
says like
I,
jambalaya, but that's which is a cultural food. But like he doesn't. It's not portrayed in his design, and it should be portrayed
it's
in his
not
design.
portrayed in his design, and to be honest, it's also not in his voice. Doesn't really have like a voice that really
He doesn't have an
represent.
accent.
Yeah, like
That's the
you would
yeah.
have like African Americans during that era of like the early 1900s America and Louisiana. They had accents. They had accents back then. Like all across America, we have accents, but they had their own sort of like they had their own sort of small culture, how they acted and how they spoke, and sort
Mhm.
of how they sang as well. Like I feel like that Alistair's design should also be more oriented towards that culture as well. Like I was telling Ace, like I feel like it'd be really cool if he had more of that sort of jazzy like build to him, like the more of that kind of like like how a lot of like jazz musicians back then had a very specific style. They had the very nice hair. They had the small mustaches. They had the very nice and sort of like suits that kind of popped out at you, but didn't like stand out too much. It was a very classy era. But when I look at Alistair, I look at his design and I just think I just don't know what to think. I don't, and that's something in which I sort of question a lot is the designs because I look at Alistair's design and I'm like, these are supposed to portray people from specific eras, but I look at his suit and how he acts and I'm just like, he doesn't act like he's from that era or look like he's from that era at all.
Exactly. I agree with that. He just looks like a Tumblr sexy man, which is
Yeah,
like the point.
exactly. So even if he fail, not only does he fail at representing an African American living in Louisiana who practiced voodoo and hoodoo during the early 1900s of America, he also fails just to portray any kind of character from early American like during the 1900s, which I assume he's from because he's like he had the distorted radio voice implying that he was around the era of which radio began to sort of be present in America, which would be around the
Hmm.
late 1800s, early 1900s. And by just the way that he acted more formally and more classy, again, that would imply he would be from the era. I will say that in the pilot, he definitely gave off that bit of a feel, especially during the dance number where everything transformed into more of a 1950s style. But again, that was 1950s. That was a
Mm-hmm.
1950 style. I don't even remember. Was the song he even sang even that jazzy, or was it more classical?
I don't remember. I don't remember
I
that
don't
much
even
about the
know if it was
pilot.
even that jazzy or anything. Like if it wasn't,
The pilot was not rememberable, so
it really wasn't. That's my point, though. He fails on both aspects. All the characters fails on both aspects. Apparently, Vaggie is supposed to be from the '80s, but I don't get that vibe from her at all. I don't know what era she's from. And not only that, she's supposed to be a fucking moth.
yeah.
Like what?
Or she's supposed to be like early 2000s, I think. Which
Maybe,
doesn't.
but like again, there's just nothing that supports that character. I mean, I guess she's supposed to be like the basic character. You know, she doesn't act a specific way. She's sort of like the control group. She's like the character in which acts the most normal and most modern. So I'll give her a pass. However, I'm not going to give her a pass for the fact she's supposed to be a moth, though, because I feel like they should have worked more into that aspect.
Because
Because
she looks
I'm not,
nothing like a moth.
yeah, I love moths. Moth designs are so much fun. Like Vivzy, go more into that. There's so many fun ideas you could do with a moth design. I'm just saying. Um, and also, but then you have all the other characters, and it's quite difficult to really tell what era they can really be from. Sometimes you can kind of get an idea, but I feel like it's not always 100% clear, especially with how they act. Because if I'm going to be honest, they all kind of act the same way, especially with how the trailer recently showed them. It's like everyone is just very like off, just very like mean spirited, vulgar, just like I don't know. I feel like that you want to put some diversity in their characters if they you know if they existed in a certain time period. I know they've been living in hell for a while, and obviously they probably a lot of their personality traits would probably shift to more of a cynical person. I understand that, but you know, it's a fucking television show, Vivzy. This is like you can get creative with your characters a little bit.
I agree. I fully agree.
That's just all I'm saying. It's just that if you want to have a character be of a certain ethnicity or represent a certain time period, it's really important that you try to make sure that they represent that time period as best and accurately as you can if your show is meant to be representing these characters in an accurate light, which I assume Hazbin Hotel is supposed to be. I don't think they're trying to represent their characters in an offensive way, because I never really got that vibe from the pilot, unless for whatever reason Vivzy's trying to make fun of mafia members by saying that they're all gay whores, but I don't think that's
Yeah.
true. So like I don't know where that character aspect comes from Angel. Like he's supposed to be from the mafia, but it's like he's a prostitute and he's gay, and it's like
I mean,
I don't.
people were gay in the mafia. Like there's gay people everywhere. But
Yeah,
like, the whole point of his design is that he's a spider, and the
but
spider's supposed to
that
represent
doesn't
the
really
web of time.
work very well with that aspect. Like if you want him to be a gay prostitute who used to be in the mafia, go ahead. Like sure, that works, but you know, play into that. If he was part of the mafia, make him look like he was in the mafia. He doesn't look like he was in the
I
mafia.
mean, they put him in like the mafia outfits in the. I think they do.
A
I
little
don't.
bit, a little
I
bit.
don't. I think Angel's one of the better designs. Like I hate Angel Dust. I hate that his whole character is he's gay, so he must have sex all the time. But like, but,
I thought you were gonna.
but
I thought you were
I
just
think
gonna
his
say
design isn't
he's gay.
horrible.
I hate him.
No, like they just make him super hypersexual. That's what they do with all the gay characters. Well, we're running out of time. We've been recording for like over an hour, right? No,
Nope. Just under.
how long? Just under.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to talk about all of Hell of a Boss, so we might have to make that another episode.
We could probably do that.
But just overall, within the medias, all gay characters are represented as very hypersexual, and it's just very frustrating. And but like I personally don't hate his design. I think his design can be worked with. I like that he's a spider because that's kind of cool with the design of being in the mafia, because it's like a web of crime. That's kind of interesting. All his family are spiders. And the point, I think he branched off from his family because they didn't support him in his endeavors. But I don't like Angel. The only thing I liked about him was his voice, and they got rid of that. Which his new voice isn't horrible, but it's just not what people wanted.
Can we just like address the fact that the trailer also really seemed like it was trying to glorify Vivzy, and the fact that they had an entirely like broadcast voice actors and like sorry, Broadway, not broadcast.
Yeah,
They had like a bunch of Broadway actors as the voice cast and shit, and I'm just like, you know, like it just feels like they're really trying to push the agenda of like, look at what we've done,
it's the
and
same reason why people get Chris Pratt to voice main characters, even though he's not a good voice actor. It's because, oh, look, big name celebrity, look at us, ha ha ha. This is gonna
which
be
is
in our
ironic because
movie.
I feel like most people probably don't even have never even really even heard of those fucking Broadway actors before and actresses. I definitely haven't.
I've heard of some of them.
I honestly have not heard of any of them, and that's not because I mean I don't really keep up with a lot of Broadway, even though I was sort of an acting kid when I was younger and I did a lot of plays. Um, I don't really keep up with a lot of like Broadway actors and like shows and stuff like that, mostly just because it's not my thing.
Yeah, no, I was never really a musical person. I mean, I've seen a good amount of Broadway musicals because I live pretty close to New York, but uh, they're okay. I mean, I've been meaning to watch falsettos, but that's just because of Andrew Reynolds. I love Andrew Reynolds.
Let's you have any final thoughts you want to get out?
Has Been Hotel is way too ambitious for what it's supposed to be. The streaming service even like was fucked up for such a long time because of how bad it looked, or not how bad it looked, because of how much she sucked at being a producer. It's this whole thing is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, enough said. You know that
Yeah,
there's not really else to really like. Obviously, we can't say much any more than what we've already said because the show hasn't come out itself. But we could clearly there's a lot that we could say about the production and just the most recent decisions made. Again, like Vivzy going out of her way to just be like, "Oh, Alistair is black," like that really is just like one of those like, "Oh shit, I fucked up. I gotta come up with a solution."
which she
Moments.
seems to do a lot.
Yeah, it's one of
So
those things. Again, you know, and I really want to like make sure that a lot of what we were talking about this is all just opinions, and obviously we aren't trying to start any kind of shit with Vivzy or even get on her bad list or anything like that.
I'm trying to get on Zigsy's bad list.
Well,
I'm
after what she did to Scott Cawthon, I don't want to get on her bad list.
dude. Scott Cawthon did that to himself. So
I mean, I guess you're not wrong, but I mean, I don't think his wife deserved death threats.
oh no, I don't think. Oh, by the way, let's. I want. Can I say something about that? Like real quick, like 3 sentences in total.
Yep.
I Scott Cawthon, if you don't know, it basically turned out that he donated a lot of his money to people supporting homophobic agendas, and that was their main goal, was to be homophobic and transphobic. Was like that was their main political drive, like to get people to bandwagon them, which is pretty fucked up, especially because a large amount of your fan base is gay. You have a right to have any political opinion you want as long as it's not hurting someone else. That's my opinion. Um, which a lot of people seem to disagree with, or hurting innocent people, which I guess innocent can be debated upon. I don't think he should deserve death threats, but I do think he should have taken accountability for what he did. I think what happened to him was too far, but what he did was fucked up. That's my opinion on that.
Yes. I mean, truth is that and obviously, if we end up recording another episode where we continue on some of these thoughts, hopefully we can kind of go into better detail on a lot of these ideas that we presented if people do have sort of questions or any concerns about them. But I think for the most part, a lot of what our opinions on Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss are pretty wildly agreed upon by a lot of people on media as well. Like a lot of people were agreeing that like the whole Alistair being black thing was really just like doesn't really make sense and really was just a spur of the moment like panic solution from Vivzy, you know, and a lot of like the show and in the trailers that's been showing off its design and animation. A lot of I've seen a lot of people kind of being like, yeah, this just don't care for it, you know. So at the end of the day, um, all we're trying to say is that wait, what is our main agenda here?
Um, wait, hold on, I blinked out.
And that right there is like, once again the singular Braincell podcast, ladies and gentlemen, at its pure finest.
I'm not even gonna lie, I'm so hungry right now. I've just been thinking about steak for like the past 5 minutes. I want steak for the last. I'm so hungry.
I guess we don't really have an agenda here other than to just die on this Vivzy Pop hill. So
Yeah, no, for real.
all right, you have any closing words for the audience?
I love you guys.
I
No,
love you too.
I'm very hungry.
Mm.
I'm very, very hungry. I've just been.
Put an image of a ham sandwich on the screen
No.
right now.
Oh,
Look. Oh,
I want a turkey sandwich with
put a picture of a
spinach.
turkey
Um,
sandwich
hey,
with spinach.
I want a hoagie with
Put a
a
picture
large
up of a
hoagie
hoagie.
with turkey, bacon, avocado, spinach, pickles, and a little bit of salt. Oh, and like a little bit of salt and vinegar. Oh, I remember that sounds so good. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
All right. Well, you go eat your BLT, whatever it was you were talking about. I
Ew, no,
wasn't
I
paying
don't like
attention.
pizza. All right.
uh,
Peace,
goodbye, everybody.
love. Goodbye. Stay safe.
Uh,